because you wanted me to watch the empty arena match with Moxley and Jake Hager, right? And so that's primarily what I was going to watch on this show. And I have several random thoughts as I watch this thing. JR built Hager well as an athlete coming out, gave it some credibility. Why does Moxley still has to enter through the back door of an empty arena? He had to come through the back or through the seats and walk all the way. It's a giant empty arena. They taped this, three weeks ago when JR could still travel and before everything got shut down. But shut down.
Actually, I don't know about that. I think JR may have been doing the commentary from a remote location, was the impression I got.
Okay, well, even better, he didn't have to travel. But the point of this has been taped for a couple of weeks because they were in this big building. But he's still got to come through the whole fucking arena. Okay, anyway. When they started, they were serious. It was good. They were being tight. Jim Ross, I think, is the only one they have that could have called this as an athletic wrestling contest. Tony wouldn't have been as detailed. Excalibur would have been worthless. Jericho would have been entertaining, but not as analytical as JR was in this. It was good. You could tell. I could tell Hager was leaving openings for Moxley because Hager's at a bit higher level fucking trained grappler than Moxley. But, he was leaving openings for him. A couple of them you could drive a truck through. But they were working competitive wrestling or / grappling, right? And then it opened up into more of the professional style, and they were nice and stiff, chops, whatever. So they were telling the story that Jake Hager was more dominant on the mat and as a wrestler, but Moxley was a better brawler. That was the first segment, right? I didn't see anything wrong with that. Then they went to the floor and they started fighting on the floor and they go to the break. Okay, well, everything's fine. But then, well, what did you think of? Should we do this segment by segment? What did you think of the first segment? They started out fine, didn't they?
I guess. It was 2 weeks ago, so you watched it more recently than I have.
Yeah, about 45 minutes before we started recording this. But anyway, okay, then I'll say they come back from the break and they're still on the floor in the same place. So 3 minutes later. So anyway, but they're going back and forth, but now they go into the arena and now they start losing me because now they're doing the same fighting in the arena stuff that everybody has done to death. And it just looks anymore, especially with no people. I liked it better and it looked more legitimate. I'm not just talking about real, but just it looked more professional, more major league in the ring. Now you've got them, they're having to do the walk stagger thing from place to place. You know how when they're fighting, but they have to obviously go somewhere, so they're kind of fighting and staggering and walking and
yeah.
Like with Brody and Abdullah, for all the money they've drawn, when they used to have the fight in the arena, they just grab each other by the head and just walk. And fucking clear fans out from in front of them. And they're putting holes on each other in the fucking stands. And now it's starting to look outlaw. Because I'm not even trying to knock these guys. But as I've said, fighting in the cool locations gets old quick. It only works with fast-paced chaos, people trying to break it up, not just wandering around and doing moves to each other for 10 minutes. Till even Jim Ross ran out of shit to say, because how do you talk about a guy's amateur athletic background or the philosophy or the psychology he's applying to dominate his opponent when they're doing figure four leg locks around the fucking seating rails? So they did the same shit that all the outlaw indie matches do, but with no people in the building. And then they go back to ringside and get back in the ring, and they do an awkward 1-2 because they're throwing those fucking forearms because nobody can throw a punch anymore that looks good. And they're doing and nobody can do the 1-2 because they can't get the rhythm. So now it's dragging a little bit. Now they go to the break. Again. When they come back from the break, Jake Hager, this monster, charges across the ring where Moxley's draped in the corner and clotheslines him in the corner 3 times in a row. Boom, boom, boom. And suddenly he goes to do it again, and Moxley just ducks and puts fucking Hager down with one fucking clothesline with his bad arm. And then they start going back and forth again, and then they go back outside of the floor. And I'm not saying Moxley is not selling. Moxley is selling his ass off here. But it's then Hager, the MMA guy, gets a chair, and instead of just if anything goes and there's no holds barred, he could just take this blunt instrument in his hand and just take the guy down in front of him and just beat the fuck out of him over and over until he's jelly, right? But instead, the MMA guy takes the chair and sets it up wedged in between the turnbuckles in the corner so that then they can do the contrived spots where they tease each other running into it until finally Moxley charges. Hager moves and Moxley runs into the chair and didn't even budge the chair. It didn't knock it out of the ropes. It didn't budge it. He just put his hand up and tapped it and then fell back over. Did you see that?
Yep.
What? And then they go to another break. They built up to the like the chair is a live hand grenade, and then when he runs into it, he does it. It's not like I want him to run his bare head into it as hard as he possibly can, but if you run into the chair, shouldn't you, with your hand, cause the chair to go flying out of the way to emphasize the impact that you just ran into this fucking chair? It didn't move and didn't make it a lot of noise. And then they go to the break. And they come back, and the fucking... Now Hager takes the chair and whacks Moxley on the ankle with it. And then puts an ankle lock on him. If you've got this chair in the ring and the chair is being used and in front of the referee because there's no holds barred, and just hit the fucking guy over the fucking head and beat him. Why do you hit his ankle with the chair to then put a hold on him? Then the ankle lock stays on for a minute while Moxley sells like he's going to the electric chair, trying to get to the ropes. And as he almost gets to the ropes, fucking Hager pulls him back. And then suddenly Moxley pops up out of the thing and hooks a hold on Hager. Then they start trading forearms again forever with Moxley not limping after he's just chair to the ankle lock for a minute from the shooter, and now he's back up, boom, boom, boom. And suddenly Moxley flings the chair into Hager's face and DDTs him on top of it after he flings it in his face. Instead of him picking the chair up and just whacking the fucking guy over the head, he sets the chair on the ground, grabs the guy, and DDTs him onto the chair. And then 1, 2, 3. Did this match make any fucking sense, Brian Last?
No, and that's why I didn't want to say anything earlier where you said, should we talk about it segment by segment? Because I thought you have to really look at it as the whole body of work. I really didn't like it. I thought it went forever. The commercial breaks weren't a big help, but, there's only so much you could do there. I thought the commentary at times, and there's only so much you can do when you're a one-man commentary booth for a match like this, but I thought the commentary...
Well, yeah, and also, he started... That's why I was saying the first segment, I was into it. And JR was making it sound plausible, and it looked like something that a professional company would do, and then suddenly, by the end of it, like you said, it went forever. And it took so long, and JR had run out of shit to say, because what can you say? And... Moxley sells his ass off in every single one of his matches, but nothing ever actually hurts him. Remember when there were 6 guys beating on him and he wouldn't stay down in the fucking hallway, so Darby Allin had to stand there for 5 minutes to look at it on the screen a few weeks ago. He sells everything at the time, but nothing ever stops him, nothing ever hurts him. And then he cut a promo to the floor camera forever that sounded like he was trying to talk himself into what he was saying, and then they go off the air.
And, I thought the build-up to this was really good. The vignette packages that they've been airing on Dynamite leading into this match were really good. That made you want to see the match. I really didn't like this match. I think I said it before. I like Moxley's personality. For whatever reason, and again, this is a different kind of match and there's no crowd there, but he kind of loses me with his matches.
Well, besides the fact that it's so long, there has to be so much contrived stuff so that he can overcome all these violent things. And there has to be the garbage indie show fighting outside and all that stuff that it just seems like he has to do. And I know they've got to fill time. And that's going to be a issue on the next week's show, this past week's show that we are talking about in a second. But I'm not blistering them because I know they're under duress, that they've got to fill time with a half a crew or whatever. But they have such a great technical crew. The packages come off so well. The packages... tell stories. They have pay-per-view footage involving these people in these matches that they could elongate the packages so that the guys are not out there for 30 minutes in front of no people taking, all kinds of bumps over and over again that don't really fit the fucking thing because they're trying to fill time. If you have matches on television, they should be telling a story for a specific purpose to lead to something rather than just everybody's going to go out and either try to have the greatest match ever in front of no people or just do this stuff that psychologically, what the fuck is something because the fans are gone out of the arena. Does that mean now everybody's invulnerable? Because I'm seeing a lot of guys take shit that hospitalization angles and just instantly later on from zero to hero, they're back up. And anyway, yeah, I didn't get this whole thing, dog.
Now, for the record, and I guess in some way for comparison's sake, have you or have you not watched the Gargano Ciampa empty arena brawl from NXT?
I have not yet, but I'm going to, but I haven't yet because somebody also told me that it was quite lengthy and I haven't had the time.
Oh, it's very lengthy. That's a theme. That's one of the reasons where I think you can compare and contrast the two matches, although they're shot very, very differently. I'm very
You know what? Everybody always said, oh, nobody wants to see all those long, boring hour Broadways anymore. Well, these guys are going almost an hour and there's not even a time limit you can milk.